Chapter 1. Grave. And not as in serious, as in headstone and freshly disturbed earth, as in a body down under, as in ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Matthias was naked on a grave, in the middle of a cemetery that stretched out as far as he could see. First thing he thought of was the back-tats he'd made his men get, the ones of the Grim Reapers standing in a field of marble and granite slabs. Fucking ironic, really. And maybe he was going to get sliced and diced by a scythe at any second. Try saying that 3 times fast. Blinking to clear what little vision he had, he gathered his limbs closer to his torso to preserve warmth and waited for the scene to shift back to his reality. When nothing changed, he wondered where the wall that he'd been trapped in for an eternity had gone. Had he finally gotten free of the cloying, crowded torture pit? Was he out of hell? With a groan, he tried to push himself up, but it was hard enough to just lift his head. Then again, finding out firsthand that those religious nuts had been right about a lot of things kind of made a guy want to take a nap. In fact, sinners did go down under, and not to Australia. And once you were there, the suffering made all the stuff you'd bitched about above ground look like Universal Studios on a free pass. There was a devil, and her living room sucked. Although the holy rollers hadn't gotten everything straight. Turned out Satan didn't have horns or a tail, no pitchfork or cloven hooves either. She was a bitch and a half, however, and she did wear red a lot. Then again, brunettes looked good in that color. At least, that's what she told herself. With his left eye, the one that worked, he blinked again, bracing himself for a return to the dense, hot blackness, with the screams of the damned ringing in his ears, and his own pain rippling up his throat and exploding out his cracked lips. Nope. Still on a grave, in a cemetery. Buck-ass naked. Taking it all in, he got an eyeball full of white marble tombs, and family plots marked with angels, and ghostly statues of the Virgin Mary, although the low-to-the-ground headstones were far more common, as if the runts of the litter had taken over the place. Pine trees and maples threw shadows across scruffy spring grass and wrought-iron benches. Street lamps glowed peach at their tops like candles on a birthday cake, and the winding lanes might have been romantic in another place. Here they weren't, not in this context of death. From out of nowhere, scenes from his life passed by his eyes, making him wonder if he wasn't enjoying a second shot at dying, or a third, as was the case. There was no happy in the retrospective. No loving wife or beautiful children, no white picket anything. Just dead bodies, dozens of them, hundreds of them, all ones he had killed, or had ordered killed. He had done evil, true evil, during his lifetime. Forcing himself to sit up off the loose dirt, his body was a jigsaw that didn't fit right, its bits and pieces jammed into sockets and joints that were sloppy in some places, too tight in others. But that's what happened when you Humpty-Dumptied yourself, and the medical profession and your limited healing powers were all you had to put things back together. Shifting his eye over to the face of the grave marker, he frowned. James Heron. Jesus Christ, James Heron. Ignoring the fact that his hand was shaking, he traced the deeply engraved letters, his fingertips sinking into what had been carved into the polished gray granite.